We just had the Treasurer
Morning.
on. There is a new announcement today, $125 million coming for the arts sector. What do you make of that, given that it is one of these sectors up there with tourism that has been so badly hit from the crisis and still may well have a bit of trouble ahead?
Morning, Pete. Look, I'm going to be straight up on this. I saw Frydenberg's interview. It's too little, too late. We're talking about a sector that's lost estimated $24 billion, according to Live Performance Australia. So you're telling me that $125 million, part of which is made up in loans, not just grants, Pete, it just does not cut it. We have been, I mean, the arts sector is not going to be fooled by this announcement, which looks like an afterthought. We have been banging on as an opposition for the last 12 months for the need for the government to support the arts sector. It's an economic argument as much as anything else. So many small businesses are in the arts and in the performing arts and live performance. They are going to fold. When JobKeeper ends at the end, a couple of days from now, Treasury own estimates say that about 100 to 150,000 Australians will lose their jobs. Thousands of businesses will go under, including in the arts.
But they are coming back online. I mean, you've got Hamilton here in Sydney this week. You've got theatre productions that are starting to come back online. Is there much of a need for it to continue post next week, given we've got to start trimming back on the spending?
So let me, it's interesting that you mentioned some of those big musicals, and as much as we love those, they're great. Note that I said small businesses, Peter. Yep. Small businesses make up 87% of employment in our sector, or did pre-COVID. They are the engine room of Australia and employment in Australia, and they drive the Australian economy. Small businesses are the ones that are getting hurt the most by this cut. And then you've got big companies who have received hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars while they're making profits, big retail. Now, I first thought when Josh Frydenberg and Morrison put this out last year and they did a cookie cutter on the JobKeeper, I thought, oh, look, it's a rush, it's a pandemic, they've got to get the money out quick. And the more and more I look at it, I see incompetence. There is no reason, Peter, that they cannot tailor and target the support to sectors. And they should have been doing this, and they should do this in extending JobKeeper to certain sectors, whether it be tourism, hospitality or the arts.
The Treasurer makes the point, though, if there had have been this offer at the start of JobKeeper that businesses would have to start paying back JobKeeper, then they wouldn't have signed up for the program in the first place. So it would have ended up defeating itself. Do you see that argument?
Well, I'm not talking about paying back JobKeeper. We argued for a wage subsidy.
That dovetails in with the bonuses, though, as well, and dividends for that matter.
Yeah, but the point is you can identify, you've got the entire machinery of government, Pete, and Treasury, which is a very competent department, to determine that there are certain sectors that are getting hundreds of millions of dollars when they're already making profits, they're not struggling. Other sectors that are struggling and are not receiving or are about to not receive JobKeeper, it makes no sense. It's a degree of incompetence which this government needs to be called out on.
But when it comes to tourism, are you satisfied that enough work is being done in that space at the moment? We're going back to these half-price flights that emerged in recent times. You've got the training that's underway for airlines at the moment too. Is that going to do enough?
Well, we'll see. I think the package for tourism obviously has been announced. We'll see how that washes through. I think I would encourage all Australians to take their Easter holidays locally. Yeah. And my wife and I have been looking around regional Victoria to see where we can take the kids for a couple of days. No, we need to actually, Australians need to support the tourism sector across Australia because it's been hit so hard.
Hey, just finally, Pete, NATO overnight has vowed to support Australia in its fight against China. This comes off the back of the US standing firm with us, just to buck up against the bullying, is what it says. That must be reassuring.
Look, I saw Jens Stoltenberg's statement yesterday. It's great to have NATO as an organisation being so supportive of their friend in Australia, in us. I wouldn't say there's I just call on your comment that there's a fight. There's no particular fight. There has been coercive and aggressive stance taken by China on issues around trade and so on, and that's something that we don't think is productive to the bilateral relationship, and we want to see an engagement which is mutually beneficial. But it's certainly good to hear that there are allies out there and friends who understand that that kind of behaviour is unacceptable.
Peter Khalil, we're out of time. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Pete.